go charging over to the next castle?
I'm only riding over there to fling down a challenge. Then we can commence fighting the War of the Roses.
Well, Granny wants to sneak up on us.
She don't understand the feudal system. Knights don't sneak.
Well, you'd better sneak back, because Granny's going to find your 10 brooches.
Look at it. You want to get yourself a handsome knight and get trothed up and live happy ever after?
Well, of course I do.
Well, then we got to fight my way, the feudal way, with honor, bravery, and intelligence.
Okay. Good luck, brave, intelligent knight.
Giddy up.
Jethro! You're all backwards!
Colonel Dumbarton, sir. That black knight who rode through your rose garden last year is back. Back? And riding through your rose garden again.
Why don't she get bound off? Stop riding through my roses, you clumsy lout.
I ain't no lout. I'm Sir Jethro from the next castle.
I say, is he sitting on his horse backwards?
Yes, sir.
A mark of contempt. Be gone, you rotter, or I'll set the dogs on you.
Too late. We's challenging you to the War of the Roses. We'll be back with our rabble and pillage you. Giddy up.
He's riding back through your roses, sir.
Curse you, Black Knight. I accept your challenge. This is war!
For me, Mr. Domo?
Yes, sir. Mr. Drysdale calling from London.
Oh, thank you. Faversham, Mr. Drysdale? You still at the hotel?
Yes, Mr. Clavitt. And I have some wonderful news for you. It won't be necessary for you to come to London to see the Queen.
Well, fine, but, how are we going to give her back the deed to Canada? I got it with me.
Now, that's the exciting part. I've been using my influence, contacting all my connections. Come in. And as a result of my superhuman efforts, Queen Elizabeth is coming to Clampett Castle to see you.
Oh, no. Loggy. But she don't have to do that.
No, she insists. After what you've done for her, she won't have it any other way.
It sure is a mighty great honor for us, Mr. Drysdale.
Oh, glad to do it. Oh, and by the way, don't spread it around. Security reasons, you know. Yeah. Oh, yes, I'll be with her. Faversham to you.
You are a madman.
Now, just...
Hiring someone to impersonate the Queen's minister in Hollywood is one thing, but no actress in the United Kingdom would consent to
Now,
impersonate...
just hold it right there. You must remember the Clampett family historian is Jethro. He thinks this Elizabeth is still queen.
Vanessa, darling, we simply must do something about your father.
Oh, sit down, Osgood. You knew Daddy drank when you married me.
It's getting worse. Other people see pink elephants. He sees black knights.
That was a year ago.
He's seen him again. Claims the fellow rode up this morning and challenged him.
Arm yourselves. Take cover. The War of the Roses may begin at any moment. Charge!
The War of the Roses? That was 500 years ago. Really, Vanessa.
All right, dear. I'll hide his brandy.
Many a castle's been captured with these here catapults.
But how are you going to get it inside the wall?
Well, I ain't. It's going to get me inside.
Oh, it's going to throw you like a slingshot.
Ain't you never heard of Sir Lancelot a-sailing the walls? This here's what sent him a-sailing.
Ain't you likely to get hurt?
Heck no. That's why knights wears armor. I reckon that's where they got the expression, fly by night.
What you going to do after you get inside?
I'm gonna, lay about me with my trusty sword. Then when I get them all pillaged, I'll open the gate, let you in. You can pick yourself out a knight and get troughed up.
Well, hey, for, I don't want him if he's all pillaged.
I'll just stun the good-looking.
Let's go.
You sit in the chair and hold it down till we get there.
Granny! Ellie! Jethro! Where is everybody? What the blue blazes?
So long, sire. We're off to pillage and loot.
Hold on, Carl. I'm gonna fetch me back a handsome knight and get troughed up to him.
Jethro! Ellie! Wait!
Say, Vanessa, here's some excitement. Feller in Twickenham claims to have seen a speckled-breasted chat.
Prepare to repel attackers. The Black Knight is coming.
Was it a male or a female chap?
Doesn't say.
Listen to me, you bird-watching fop. This is war. England expects every man to do his duty. And the battlement.
Vanessa, I thought you said
I did. I put his brandy away.
that it's time to put him away.
Relax, dear.
I have it. Send him to Scotland to visit your cousin Sandra.
Sandra's coming here. There's Emlyn.
Drat.
Where's my brandy? Man needs to drop before battle.
Sit down, Daddy.
I told you, the Black Knight's coming.
Yes, yes, on his white charger.
No, on a black truck.
A black truck.
Yes, and the blighters captured a fair damsel and has her strapped to a ducking stool.
Coming, Vanessa.
Yes, dear.
We'll be in the solarium.
Dosata! If I had you in India, I'd spread you on an anthill. Blasted hippie! Where have they hit my brandy?
Here you are, Ellie. Just cut the rope and away I go.
Now remember, don't pillage no handsome knight.
I won't. I'll just sack him.
Pipsqueak's buried it somewhere. Well, never mind.
What did him say? Jethro, you forgot your sword.
Well, that's what I call a brandy with authority. The Black Knight.
All right, the rest of you pay attention. We'll show you how it's done. All right, you fighting fools, charge! Hit the dirt! That's the spirit, boys. Old Jed Stewart himself would be proud of you. And when we capture the next castle, you elite troops will get the spoils.
Granny, what's going on? Who are these fellas?
Granny's gorillas. We got a sorry lot of rabble, Jed. But I called out the cowards. I was hoping to come up with the dirty dozen, but all I could get was the filthy four.
Come on, you fellas get up and go back to your job.
Wait a minute, Jed. These are the Clampett commandos, ready to lay down their life for your honor. They know everybody ain't coming back.
Yeah, because everybody ain't going.
You gonna chicken out again? Is we gonna be forever known as the Beverly Hills Yellow Bellies?
The Queen is coming.
Here.
She's gonna pick up the deed to Canada.
Then we got to finish the feud.
It's done finished.
The old boy must have had a fit.
Perhaps he just stumbled and fell.
Great heavens, what's that?
I'm off to the tournament. The Black Knight and I are jousting.
Jousting?
Yes, he flew over the wall to engage me. The poor blighter forgot his sword. So we're meeting on the field of honor to settle the War of the Roses. My steed!
But, Jed, I can't send Granny's gorillas back to civilian life. I got them all worked up to a pitch. These killers, they got a bloodlust in their eyes.
Well, I can
Uncle Jed, Granny! Get everybody together. We're going to have a joust.
Oh, you caught one, did you?
All he ever thinks about is something to eat.
You don't eat it, you fight it.
Well, you fight it, you clean it, you cook.
Granny, I'm going to have a joust with the Green Knight.
Let him clean it and cook it. I got the War of the Roses to settle.
This'll settle it. Jousting is fighting, and the Green Knight is from the next castle.
Well, how'd this all come about?
Well, I shot Jethro over the wall, and he landed on the Green Knight.
So now he's going to have a joust.
You say this'll settle the War of the Roses once and for all?
Oh, yes, sir. That's the feudal system.
Well, get ready, boy, because yonder he comes.
Somebody fetch my charger and my jousting lamp. Hail to thee, Green Knight.
Don't cuss him, boy. Just fight him. What's that green goomer doing?
Knowing the colonel, madam, I would guess he is fortifying himself for the fray.
Oh, well, as long as it's only water. Ladies and gentlemen and rabble, in this corner we have a boy from your own castle. A boy fighting to end the War of the Roses. A boy fighting to save the family name and your own necks. The ever-popular Black Knight from Bog Tussle. Let's hear it for him! And in this corner, appearing for the first time without his cannon, a man after your own hearts, as well as your livers and other vital organs, the notorious Yellow Knight. I mean the Green Knight. All right, let's not overdo it. Take a bow, Greenie. Now, y'all know the rule. No lancing below the belt. And when you get run through, stay down till the count of 8. Now, back up, and when you hear the gong, come out a-galloping.
Jethro, if he ain't in one piece, I ain't taking him.
You don't think nobody's going to get hurt, do you?
If Master Jethro can survive the catapult, he can survive the colonel.
Well, what about him? What kind of shape is he in?
Mr. Clamp, the shape that he is in, I guarantee you he won't feel a thing.
On your mark, get set, charge!
They do a lot of that around here?
No, sir. Not for hundreds of years.
That figures.
1, 2. Get up, Jethro. 3, 4. Gonna knock more than the wind out of you. 5. Lie down, Greenie. You're a sick man. 6. You're gonna be sicker than he is. 7. There's a doctor, I'm warning you. 8. Jethro, I'm warning you. 9, 10. We won the War of the Roses. You all seen it? The winner!
Jethro, I told you I won him in one piece.
Sally, don't!
We're in luck. They're all down the garden.
Her Majesty's still sulking.
Well, let her sulk. Let's get the throne set up.
She says that Elizabethan costume makes her look ridiculous.
Listen, Queenie. Think how ridiculous it will make you look in the unemployment line.
He's trapped in there.
How do you think he is?
Jed, if I didn't know better, I'd swear he was fermenting.
Jethro, you done pillaged my night. He ain't no shape to talk.
I'll get you another one.
Ellie, maybe you had better let Jethro get you another one.
She can have this one, too. He's the spoils of war.
He's already spoiled.
Here's some water will bring him around.
Yeah. Jed, if this is water, we gotta find the creek it come from. That's what you call water.
You sure?
Distilled water.
Granny, it's for him.
Yes.
Mr. Faversham! Mr. Faversham, the Queen is here.
The Queen?
Not the new one, sir, the old one.
The old Queen?
Elizabeth I.
Gently, have you been at the cooking, Sherry?
No, sir. I was going up to the castle, and as I emerged from the garden tower, I saw Her Majesty.
Queen Elizabeth I?
Yes, sir, ascending her throne.
Something the matter, Mr. Domo?
Not really, sir. No, the excitement of the day has been a bit much for Tetley here.
But I did see the Queen.
You did?
Yes, sir, in front of the castle.
Oh, good. I've been expecting her. I'm going to give her back the deed to Canada.
The deed to Canada?
Yeah, bought it last week. Granny? Hey, Jethro, get a move on. Queen's here.
What's it all about, mate?
Never mind. Pass it on. Mr. Drysdale says there's a quid in it for everybody who keeps his mouth shut.
Get the show on the road.
Ladies and gentlemen, attention, please. Her Grace's Majesty, Elizabeth I, has seen fit to appoint me as royal spokesman. Now let all those who have business with the Queen step forward.
That's you, Jed.
Your Majesty, ma'am, well, first off, I want to say that we all feel mighty honored just to get to see you. And I want to thank you for letting us visit your fine country. I don't know how much Mr. Drysdale has told you about how we come to buy Canada, but, well, I reckon maybe the less said about that, the better.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it's an honor and a pleasure to give it back to you, and here is the deed.
On behalf of Her Majesty, I thank you for returning Canada to the crown.
You're welcome, and she's welcome.
You done good, pal.
I sure did.
Mr. Drysdale, can I say something to the Queen?
You may approach the throne. You may speak.
Your Majesty, ma'am, I just want to tell you that the War of the Roses is over, and we won it fair and square. Jethro whooped the Green Knight, and we'd appreciate it if you'd tell the folks in London not to laugh and point at us no more.
Her Majesty will so instruct her subjects, and your name has been officially cleared.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Good thinking, Granny.
Could I ask a boon, please, Mr. Drysdale?
Oh, all right. Step forward.
Your Majesty, ma'am, I'm Sir Jethro de Bodine, except I ain't never been officially drubbed tonight. Would you drub me?
Let me have your sword. Kneel.
Has anyone seen the Colonel? The Black Knight is being dubbed by Queen Elizabeth I.
Oh, come off it.
You better get him home. Here. Drinks, you know. Thus ends the Second War of the Roses.
Granny, I've been looking all over for you. You know, now that the War of the Roses is over, I think we ought to go to the next castle and pay a social call on Colonel Dumbarton.
This ain't the time, Jed. I got the man under medical treatment.
What's wrong with him?
He's caught fast in the clutches of demon rum. But with my help, he's quitting cold turkey.
You think he can do that?
Of course he can. I sent him over a jar of Dr. Daisy's cold turkey tonic.
Well, that's a new one on me.
Oh, it's a harmless vegetable compound. As long as he don't drop it or light a match close to it.
To you, Dr. Daisy.
Uncle, are you right?
Never felt better. Feel a different man since I gave up drinking.
You quit drinking?
Yes, thanks to Dr. Daisy's cold turkey tonic.
And what's in that tonic?
A vegetable compound. Daisy says it's mostly corn.
How often do you take it?
Oh, as required. Wonderful stuff. You know, whenever I get that addictive craving for another drink, one dose of that and the craving vanishes.
How?
What you doing in your damsel in distress outfit?
I've been up in that stupid tower hollering, help, save me, like Jethro said.
Didn't no knight ride up to rescue you or troth you?
Heck no. I don't think they know a damsel in distress when they see one.
Well, here's one. I got this whole castle to clean. Now take this and get at it. And where's Jethro?
Oh, he's out front setting up his telescope.
Telescope? What's he fixing to look at?
Well, the castle next door, I reckon. I'll change into my old clothes, Granny.
Good girl.
Uncle Jed, Granny, hey, where are you? You gotta come outside and look through my telescope.
Where?
You gotta see what I seen over at the next castle.
Oh, just.
Uncle, now why don't you come riding with me?
No, not while I'm under treatment.
Oh, very well. I'll see you both later.
Uncle, are you sure about the stuff?
Try it, my boy. In that glass, there's all the proof a man could want. Sounds as though you need it, huh?
What is it, boy?
Uncle Jed, I'm in love.
Well, doggy.
Who is she, Jethro?
Mr. Domo says she's Colonel Dumbarton's niece. Just visited. Take a look.
Oh, you're spying on them folks.
Colonel Dumbarton's got a telescope over to his castle. He looks at us. Boy, are we getting the best end of this bargain.
Oh, it's fair and love war, Jed. We've done had the war.
Now he's got the love. Uncle Jed, she's the one I've been looking for all my life. Don't left Granny speechless. Ain't never seen one like her, have you?
No, boy. She's one of a kind. Take a look, Jed.
You ain't gonna believe it.
Got some in my eye.
Ain't gonna go away, Jed.
Hard to beat her, huh, Uncle Jed?
If I was you, I wouldn't try. Eh? Wouldn't let her look?
No, a sight like that sort of stays with you, Jed.
What do you think of that figure?
I was just going to ask you about that. A lot of it, ain't there?
She's all woman, Uncle Jed. Well, so long.
Where you going?
Where would you be going if you was in my place?
An eye doctor.
Hey, boy, let me give you some advice. Don't get fresh with that girl.
You can come out now. I said you can come out now.
Who, me?
Yes. You're one of the Americans.
Yeah. How could you tell?
Oh, I've got second sight. Now, let me see. Your name is Jethro.
Well, it used to be, and now it's Sir Jethro. You see,
Oh, don't tell me. You'll break the spell. I see it all. A castle, a queen, Queen Elizabeth I. She dubbed you Sir Jethro.
You has got second sight. Can you tell why I come here?
Well, you're my Black Knight. You came here to ask me to marry you.
Doggone. You done it again. Will you?
Marry you? Why, certainly, your Grace.
Boy, wait till Jed and Granny hear about this.
Where are you going, Granny?
Dr. Granny, this is a professional house call.
Where to?
The next castle. I'm taking the Colonel another jar of my cold turkey tonic.
I thought he'd quit drinking.
He did. But that niece of his would drive anybody back to the bottle. Now, I refilled your prescription.
Oh, bless you, Dr. Daisy.
It's nice to see you so relaxed, Colonel. Has anybody else noticed the change? Your niece, for instance?
You've seen her, have you? Beautiful girl. Ravishing.
I think you need glasses.
No. I'll drink straight from the jar.
Don't go away, lassie. I'm coming a-courting, singing and dancing my way into your heart.
Enchanting creature. Make some lucky fellow a great wife. What a mother she'd make.
Mr. Domo, have you seen Jed?
Mr. Clafford? Yes, madam. He's in the main hall. Is something wrong?
Yeah. Tell me, have you ever seen Colonel Dumbarton's niece?
Many times, madam.
This won't go no further. But tell me, what do you really think of her?
Well, since you ask, madam, I think Miss McGregor is one of the most beautiful young ladies I have ever seen.
You don't get to town much, do you? Jed, Mr. Domo must have got himself a lick on the head. He thinks the Colonel's niece is beautiful, too.
He does? Reckon something wrong with that telescope?
Can't be. I seen her up close. You wouldn't believe it.
Is she really that, ugly?
Not only that ugly, she's a drunk.
A drunk?
Carries it around in a big leather bag. It's got 4 straws to it. She was reeling around the yard, sucking on the hind one, moaning and squealing.
Squealing?
Oh, like a stuck pig. It was revolting.
Where was the Colonel?
Sitting there sober as a judge, pretending not to notice.
And her moaning and squealing? He ought to took steps.
Now, don't badmouth him, Jed. He's the most loyal family man you ever heard of. She was lurching around, swishing her skirts and showing her big hairy legs, and him sitting there telling me what a wonderful mother she'd make.
Well, maybe we ain't got a problem. If Jethro's seen her like that, you know what he's going to say.
Yeah, Granny, I'm getting married. You're going to be the best man, and Granny, you're going to be the flower girl.
What did he say?
I can't repeat it, Jed.
Have you seen her, boy?
Seen her? I'm going to be a father.
A father?
Yeah, she said she wants to have 12 children.
Oh.
We'll name the first girl after you, Granny.
Oh, you don't know how that makes me feel, boy.
It'll look just like her. You can bounce her on your knee. It's got her going, Uncle Jed. Granny, you ain't losing a grandson. You're just gaining a...
Don't say it, boy.
When is this all going to take place?
She can't wait, Uncle Jed. We're getting married tomorrow in Westminster Abbey.
Oh.
never seen Granny so happy. I gotta go tell Ellie.
Have you told her uncle?
She's gonna tell him. He's gonna give her away.
He's got her priced right.
But, Uncle, Westminster Abbey, the Queen, 12 children. I was joking. He was joking.
So Jethro never jokes. I better get over there.
I'll explain it to him when he drops in.
The last time he dropped in was from 50 feet up by catapult.
Uncle, are you all right?
Of course. They're the ones I'm worried about. Breaking it to them won't be easy. Why, at this very moment, they're probably over there singing, dancing, and rejoicing.
And I think of that poor, sweet, innocent boy, Jethro. It's all my fault, Jed. I didn't beat him enough.
Granny.
I always wanted his bride to wear my old wedding dress. But on that beast, it'll look like a lampshade.
Granny.
Jed, you ain't seen her feet. This girl is a great, big, hairy, drunken brute.
Granny, if she was a drunken brute, Jethro would have said something.
Jed, with this kind, you don't kiss and tell.
What's that?
It's her! How's that for a drunken brute?
I don't think she's drinking. I think she's playing.
That's her second bag this morning. When you drink like that, you ain't playing.
She seems to be fingering the thing.
She's priming the pump. She can't suck it up fast enough.
What's all that noise?
Jed, some stuff makes you whoop, some make you holler. That's squealing whiskey. Done emptied the bag.
Wait a minute.
Every lassie has his lassie. Nay, nay, say, hey, I.
I wonder how folks over here handle these things. I wish Mr. Drysdale and Miss Jane was here.
It ain't them two that she needs. It's Barnum and Bailey.
Oh, Granny! You dodging Jethro's girl?
Have you seen her?
Yeah.
Then you just answered your own question.
I don't think there's going to be no wedding, Ellie. I'm going to talk to her uncle.
Well, he's over here to see you.
Yeah?
Let me break it to him, Jed. He's my patient, and the shock could start him drinking again.
I feel frightfully embarrassed. You do see the girl's position.
Well, now, let me get this straight. The wedding is off?
Yes, and I'm terribly sorry.
Oh, don't give it another thought. Mighty nice of you to...
Now, wait a minute. Is he saying the wedding is off?
That's what he said.
What he meant was his niece don't want to marry my grandson.
That's right.
You keep out of this.
I'm afraid the girl's a terrible tease.
A tease. She's a heartbreaker of him. I seen her dancing outside the boy's window, flaunting her charms.
You'll have to excuse Granny, Colonel. I'll explain to her you later. She's a little upset.
You'll be upset, too, if you was to lose 12 dear little grandchildren with the shake of a hussey's beautiful head.
So sorry.
And you're gonna be sorry. I'm cutting off your tonic.
No. Not that, Daisy.
Dr. Daisy to you. No wedding, no tonic.
I don't have another word with the girl.
No, don't do that.
You keep out of this.
In the car again, sir? No, we're moving into the castle here where we can keep an eye on the Clamptons.
I can't say I blame you, sir.
Well, we sure are glad to see you.
Something wrong?
No. You're just in time for the wedding.
Granny, there ain't gonna be no wedding.
And you're just in time for the funeral.
Funeral?
What's happened? Well, Granny just got her back up. It seems that the Colonel's niece was gonna marry Jethro, but she changed her mind.
No, she ain't. Not that sweet, dear little child. Wait till you see her. She's... There she is!
That's her?
A sweet little child?
Home wrecker, you shameless flirt!
Granny, stop it!
You drunken Jezebel!
Granny, that's enough!
Granny, that's not a girl.
You're right. She's a monster. And if the word gets around that she's jilted poor Jethro, there won't nobody have him.
But that's a boy.
Who ever heard of a boy wearing skirts?
The Scot of all...
She drinks rye.
Granny, that's not a skirt, it's a kilt. The boy is from Scotland, that's how they dress.
Let me think about that for a minute. Don't she look more like a boy than a girl?
She looks more like an ape than either one of them.
Excuse me, Granny. May I see you, Miss Hathaway?
You and your big mouth. We could have sued her for breach of promise.
She's a boy.
Well, that's fraud. We could have collected twice. Yes. Go unpack, spoiled sport.
I wonder why the colonel didn't tell us his niece was a nephew.
He didn't want to make Jethro look stupid. I knowed all along she was a boy.
You did?
Didn't want to make you look stupid.
Well, I guess it's all settled.
No, it ain't.
What you mean?
Somebody's got to break the news to poor Jethro.
Yeah, I should have had a talk with that boy a long time ago.
Jed, break it to him gently.
She's a what?
She's a boy, Jethro. There's ways of telling.
Well, I know there is.
Didn't you see how she was built?
Well, sure, didn't you?
I should have had that talk with you a long time ago.
You sure had on it.
Now, this ain't no time for joking. I'm telling you, that girl is a boy. Now, don't give me no argument.
Yes, sir, Uncle Jed. She's a boy, all right.
Believe me now?
Oh, I do. I do.
What are you looking at me that way for? Where are you going?
Granny, I'm telling you, Uncle Jed's done lost his mind. He thinks she's a boy.
Jethro, she is a boy. It's your mind that's lost.
My mind? Ellie, did you see her?
I hid from her.
I get it. You're always gaslighting me. You're trying to make me think that I'm crazy. You're after my title. I know that. You all's trying to have me committed. I'm telling the Queen on you. I'm telling her. I'm gonna tell her.
Can you save him, Granny?
I can, but it'll take a head transplant.
Well, where you gonna get another head?
Tower of London. They's rolling in them.
Sir Jethro? Oh, excuse me. Have you seen Sir Jethro?
Who are you?
Well, I'm Colonel Dumbarton's niece.
His niece?
Well, you sure have changed.
If Rye'll do that for you, I'm gonna run me off a batch.
Excuse me, I don't understand.
Well, a minute ago, you were a great, big, hairy goomer lurching and squealing through the garden.
Oh, you saw my brother.
Your brother?
What was that you called him?
Harry Goomer.
A Harry Goomer. The handsomest man in Tennessee.
Granny? Well, who was this?
The Colonel's niece. The one with the handsome brother in the garden.
Doggy. Boy, it sure is a relief to... it sure is a pleasure to meet you.
Wait a minute. She's the one that jilted poor Jethro.
Oh, I only did it to save him.
Save him?
Yes, well, I'm only a commoner, and he's royalty. Well, if he'd married me, the Queen would have cut off his head.
Oh, poor darling. Jed, she saved the boy's life.
Granny, I think this calls for a celebration.
Try, Jed.
I'm game. quite breezy. I wonder how you know that tune.
It's the tonic, Jed.
In the misty landscapes of 20th century England, history had a strange, whimsical way of turning itself upside down, especially when the grand ghosts of the past decided to collide headlong with the eccentricities of the present. 500 years before this particular season, the emerald fields of the nation had run red during the famous War of the Roses, a long and bitter feud between two noble houses known as the House of York and the House of Lancaster. That medieval struggle had been recorded in heavy leather-bound volumes and taught to school children with solemn gravity, but tonight, under the soft English sky, a magnificent and thoroughly ridiculous repetition was about to take place. The grand stage was set for what could only be described as the Second War of the Roses, though the combatants this time were not armored lords of ancient bloodlines, but rather the stubborn, prideful House of Dumbarton clashing with the fiercely independent and delightfully confused House of Clampett. The trouble began in the courtyard of a massive stone estate that the Clampett family had come to occupy, a place filled with drafty corridors, towering battlements, and a great deal of confusion regarding British traditions. Jethro, a large and earnest young man whose ambition far outweighed his understanding of European history, was currently strapping himself into pieces of makeshift armor, looking every bit like a metal boiler that had learned to walk. His sister, Ellie, watched him with a mixture of curiosity and mild exasperation as he checked his heavy leather straps and adjusted a helmet that kept sliding down over his eyes. Before Jethro could hoist his massive frame onto his waiting steed, a sharp voice echoed across the stone courtyard. "Hey, Jethro," came the warning from across the gravel path, full of practical concern. "What do you want?" Jethro grunted back, his voice echoing hollowly inside his iron headpiece. "You better go talk to Granny before you go charging over to the next castle," Ellie shouted, leaning against a wooden cart. Jethro shook his head, a motion that caused his helmet to clang loudly against his collarbone. "I am only riding over there to bring down a challenge," he explained with the supreme confidence of a man who believed he lived in the year 1485. "Then we can commence fighting the War of the Roses." "But Granny wants to sneak up on us," Ellie countered, stepping closer to help him adjust a loose buckler. "She don't understand the feudal system," Jethro declared grandly, waving a metal-clad hand in the air. "Knights don't sneak." "Well, you had better sneak back because Granny is going to find your 10 breeches," Ellie warned with a laugh. "Look, Ellie," Jethro said, turning to her with a sudden seriousness that looked comical beneath his rusted visor. "Do you want to get yourself a handsome knight and get cropped up and live happy ever after?" "Well, of course I do," she replied, smiling at the thought of a fairy tale romance. "Well, then we have got to fight my way, the feudal way, with honor, bravery, and intelligence," Jethro announced, lifting his chin high, though the movement caused his helmet to slip completely over his nose. Ellie reached out, pushed the helmet back up so he could see, and patted his armored shoulder. "Okay," she said softly. "Good luck, brave, intelligent knight." With a grand flourish, Jethro prepared to mount his horse, a beast that seemed entirely indifferent to the historical weight of the moment. "Giddy up," Jethro bellowed, throwing his leg over the saddle with tremendous energy. However, in his excitement and the general restriction of his heavy metal suit, he managed to face the entirely wrong direction. "Jethro, you are all backwards," Ellie cried out, covering her mouth to hide her laughter as her brother sat proudly staring directly at the horse's tail. "Jethro," she called again, but it was too late to correct the grand entrance. "Yee-haw," Jethro cheered, completely unbothered by his unique equestrian style. urging the confused animal forward into a clumsy trot out of the courtyard and toward the neighboring estate. A short distance away, across a neatly manicured hedge that separated the two great properties, Colonel Dumbarton stood in his magnificent rose garden. The garden was his absolute pride and joy, a sanctuary of perfectly pruned blossoms, velvet petals, and orderly gravel paths. He was admiring a particularly fine specimen of a red rose when his butler, Baldar, approached with an expression of profound professional distress. "Colonel Dumbarton, sir," Baldar announced, his voice tight with British reserve. "That black knight who rode through your rose garden last year is back." The colonel froze, his garden shears hovering in midair. "Back," he repeated, his blood pressure visibly rising. "And riding through your rose garden again? Why, don't you hear, Baldar?" Before the butler could answer, the thudding of heavy hooves and the distinct clanking of loose metal plates broke the morning silence. Through the pristine bushes came Jethro, still sitting backwards on his horse, looking like a lost monument on wheels. "Stop riding through my roses, you clumsy lout," the colonel roared, his face turning a shade of crimson that rivaled his best flowers. Jethro pulled on the reins, causing the horse to stop right in the middle of a prized flower bed. "I ain't no lout," Jethro shouted back down at the small, angry man below him. "I am Sir Jethro from the next castle." Colonel Dumbarton blinked, rubbing his eyes as he stared up at the spectacle. "I say, is he sitting on his horse backwards?" the colonel muttered to his servant, utterly bewildered. "Yes, sir," Baldar replied coldly, adjusting his waistcoat. A mark of contempt. The colonel shook his fist in the air, his dignity deeply offended. "Begone, you rotter, or I will set the dogs on you," he threatened. Jethro merely laughed, a booming sound that rattled his visor. "Too late," the young man proclaimed. "We is challenging you to the War of the Roses. We will be back with our rabble and pillage you. Giddy up." With another loud cheer, Jethro urged his horse forward, continuing his backward journey directly through another row of delicate bushes. "He is riding back through those roses, sir," Baldar noted dryly, watching the destruction with a sigh. "Curse you, Black Knight," Colonel Dumbarton screamed into the wind, stamping his foot on the ruined grass. "I accept your challenge. This is war." Meanwhile, far away from the battlefields of the Rose Gardens, in a bustling, high-class area of London, a telephone was ringing inside a grand hotel suite. The call was transferred through a series of operators until it reached the grand estate where the Clampetts were staying. A nervous clerk answered the line. "Me, Mr. Dumbledore," he asked into the receiver. "Yes, sir." "Mr. Drysdale, calling from London." "Oh, thank you," the clerk said, waving his hand to catch the attention of Jed Clampett, the patriarch of the family, who was walking through the hallway with a heavy leather bag. "Baggage here, Mr. Drysdale," Jed called out, stepping closer to the telephone apparatus. "You still at the hotel?" On the other end of the line, miles away in London, the frantic and always scheming banker, Mr. Drysdale, adjusted his spectacles and spoke into the mouthpiece with immense excitement. "Yes, Mr. Clavet, and I have some wonderful news for you. It won't be necessary for you to come to London to see the Queen." Jed paused, looking down at the heavy, ancient document he held in his free hand. "Well, fine, but how are we going to give her back the deed to Canada?" "I got it with me." Mr. Drysdale chuckled, a nervous, high-pitched sound that betrayed his desperate desire to keep his wealthiest clients happy and out of trouble. "Now, that's the exciting part," the banker explained smoothly. "I have been using my influence, contacting all my connections." Just then, a loud knock sounded at the door of the London hotel room, causing Drysdale to interrupt his own speech. "Come in," he called out, before returning to the telephone. "And as a result of my superhuman efforts, Queen Elizabeth is coming to Clamford Castle to see you." Jed's eyes widened beneath his old hat. "Oh, no," he muttered, feeling a sudden wave of rustic modesty. "Oh, no. But she don't have to do that." No, she insists," Drysdale lied effortlessly, waving his hand at an associate who had just entered the room. "After what you've done for her, she won't have it any other way." Jed smiled, a genuine, warm expression of gratitude spreading across his face. It sure is a mighty great honor for us, Mr. Drysdale. Glad to do it, the banker replied, leaning back in his leather chair. Oh, and by the way, don't spin it around security reasons, you know. Oh, yes, I'll be with her. Fabricium to you. As Drysdale hung up the phone, his associate looked at him with an expression of absolute horror. You are a madman, the man stated plainly, shaking his head. Now just Drysdale began, raising his hands defensively. Hiring someone to impersonate the Queen's minister in Hollywood is one thing, but no actress in the United Kingdom would consent to a— Now, just hold it right there, Drysdale interrupted, his eyes flashing with the desperate brilliance of a corporate executive on the brink of a disaster. You must remember the Clamford family historian is Jethro. He thinks this Elizabeth is still queen. Back at the neighboring manor, the Dumbarton household was experiencing its own share of domestic tension. Vanessa, the colonel's sharp-tongued daughter, was pacing across the drawing room, her high heels clicking sharply against the polished wood. Vanessa, darling, we simply must do something about your father, her husband, Osgood, complained, looking up from his newspaper with a frown. Oh, sit down, Osgood. Vanessa snapped back, not pausing her pacing. You knew Daddy drank when you married me. Osgood sighed, tossing the paper onto a side table. He is getting worse, he muttered. Other people see pink elephants. He sees black knights. That was a year ago, Vanessa reminded him, waving her hand dismissively. He has seen him again, Osgood countered, his voice rising in concern. Claims the fellow rode up this morning and challenged him. Right on cue, the heavy wooden doors of the drawing room burst open and Colonel Dumbarton marched in, looking entirely disheveled and wild-eyed. Arm yourselves, the old man shouted, his voice cracking with military fervor. Take cover. The War of the Roses may begin at any moment.
Charge.
Osgood looked at his wife, then back to the old man. The War of the Roses, Osgood asked incredulously. That was 500 years ago. Be it, Vanessa, the colonel barked, ignoring the historical correction entirely as he grabbed an old ceremonial saber from the wall. All right, dear, Vanessa said to her husband in a low, soothing whisper. I'll hide his brandy. Out in the open fields behind the Clampett residence, Jethro was busy working on a massive wooden contraption that looked like a cross between a medieval siege engine and a garden shed. He was tightening a thick hemp rope around a giant wooden arm. Granny walked out into the field, her apron fluttering in the breeze, looking highly skeptical of the entire operation. Many a castle has been captured with these here catapults, Jethro announced proudly, tapping the wooden frame with a heavy wrench. Granny crossed her arms, chewing on a piece of straw. How are you going to get it inside the wall? She asked practically. I ain't. Jethro grinned, a massive, foolish smile spreading across his face. It is going to get me inside. Ellie, who had followed Granny out to the field, gasped as she realized what her brother was planning. Oh, it is going to throw you like a slingshot, she exclaimed, looking at the giant cup at the end of the wooden arm. Ain't you never heard of Sir Lancelot? A sail in the walls, Jethro asked, puffing out his chest. This here is what sent him a-sailing. Ellie looked at the massive tension on the ropes and the solid stone walls of the neighboring estate in the distance. Ain't you likely to get hurt? She asked, her sisterly instincts kicking in. Heck no, Jethro laughed, slapping his metal breastplate, which produced a loud, hollow clang. That is why knights wear his armor. I reckon that is where they got the expression, fly by a night. Granny shook her head, muttering about the foolishness of young people under her breath. But what are you going to do after you get inside? Ellie inquired, genuinely curious about the strategic plan. I am going to what you call lay about me with my trusty sword, Jethro explained, drawing a wooden practice blade and swinging it wildly through the air. Then when I get him all pillaged, I will open the gate, let you in. You can pick yourself out at night and get troughed up. Ellie frowned, her romantic notions deeply offended by his terminology. Why, Hank Forrest, I don't want him if he is all pillaged, she declared, tossing her hair. I'll just stun the good-looking. Jethro ignored her complaint and climbed into the large wooden basket at the base of the catapult. You sit in the chair and hold it down till we get there, he instructed. Granny, a levy, Getro, a voice suddenly bellowed from the direction of the house. Jed came walking out into the yard, looking around for his missing family. "Where is everybody?" he called out, his boots crunching on the dirt. "What's a blue blazes?" Before Jed could reach them, Jethro reached down and pulled the release pin on the mechanism. "So long, sir," Jethro yelled as the massive wooden arm snapped forward with a tremendous whoosh. The force of the catapult launched the armored young man high into the air, sending him sailing over the trees like a very heavy, very loud metal bird. Back in the Dumbarton solarium, the colonel was peering through a brass telescope, scanning the horizon for signs of the enemy. "See, Vanessa, here is some excitement," he called out to his daughter, who was trying to read a magazine nearby. "Heller in Twickenham claims to have seen a speckled-breasted chap prepare to repel attackers. The Black Knight is coming." Vanessa sighed, not looking up from her pages. "Was it a male or a female chap?" she asked with complete indifference. Doesn't say," the colonel muttered, adjusting the focus on his lens. Osgood walked into the room, looking thoroughly annoyed by the military preparations. "Listen to me, you bird-watching pup," the colonel shouted, turning around and pointing a finger at his son-in-law. "This is war. England expects every man to do his duty. Man the battlements." Vanessa looked at Osgood, a look of exhaustion on her face. "I thought you said," Osgood started. "I did," Vanessa interrupted defensively. "I put his brandy away." "Then it is time to put him away," Osgood whispered back, throwing his hands up. "Relax, dear," Vanessa said, trying to maintain her calm. "I have it. Send him to Scotland to visit your cousin Sandra." Osgood groaned loudly at the suggestion. "Sandra is coming here," he said. "So is Emlyn." "Drat," the colonel muttered, rummaging through a nearby cabinet and knocking over several decorative plates. "Where is my brandy? Man needs a drop before battle." "Sit down, Daddy," Vanessa pleaded, walking over to grab his arm. "I told you, the Black Knight's coming." The colonel stopped his searching and looked at her with wide eyes. "Yes, yes, on his white charger," he whispered dramatically. "No, no, no, on a black truck," Osgood chimed in, looking out the window with a look of utter confusion. "Black truck," the colonel repeated, squinting through the glass. "Yes, and the blighter has captured a fair damsel and has her strapped to a ducking stool." "Coming, Vanessa?" Osgood asked, moving toward the hallway to investigate the strange vehicle approaching their gates. "Yes, dear," Vanessa answered, following him closely. "We will be in the solarium. You will suffer." The colonel yelled after them, still searching the empty cupboards. "If I had you in India, I'd spread you on an anthill. Blasted hippie. Where have they hidden my brandy?" "Out on the lawn." The black truck had pulled up, and Granny was busy unloading a variety of strange equipment, including an old wooden chair attached to a long pole. "Here you are, Ellie," Granny said, helping her granddaughter adjust her grip on a rope. "Just cut the rope and away I go. Now remember, don't finish no hand tonight." "I won't," Ellie promised, her eyes bright with adventure. "I'll just sack him." Inside the house, the colonel had finally located a small, hidden flask behind a row of books. "That glib squeak has buried it somewhere," he muttered to himself, taking a long sip. "Well, never mind. How could he have seen you?" Suddenly, the heavy glass skylight of the solarium shattered into 1,000 pieces as Jethro, having completed his aerial journey from the catapult, crashed directly through the roof and landed with a massive, earth-shaking thud right on top of the colonel's prized velvet sofa. The old man stumbled backward, dropping his flask in pure shock. "General, you forgot your sword," the colonel shouted, his mind entirely scrambled by the sudden appearance of a flying metal man. "That is what I call a brandy, with authority. The Black Knight." Jethro groaned, shaking his iron head to clear the cobwebs, entirely unaware of the chaos he had just caused. A short time later, back on the Clampett side of the property, Jed was trying to organize a group of local farmhands who had been drafted into Granny's civilian militia. "All right, the rest of you, pay attention," Jed said, walking down the line of confused-looking men. "We are catching herb spoils." Ellie came running up, her face flushed with excitement. "Ellie, what is going on?" Jed asked, looking at the strange assortment of tools the men were holding. "Who are these fellas?" Granny stepped forward, wearing a makeshift military cap and looking incredibly fierce for her size. "Granny's guerrillas," she announced proudly, chest puffed out. "We got a sorry lot of rabble, Jed, but I called out the cowards. I was hoping to come up with the dirty dozen, but all I could get was the filthy four." Jed sighed, rubbing the back of his neck in absolute disbelief. "Come on, you fellas. Get up and go back to your job," he told the men, who looked more than happy to oblige. "Wait a minute, Jed," Granny snapped, stepping between him and her troops. "These are the clampest commandos, ready to lay down their life for your honor. They know everybody ain't coming back." "Yeah," Jed muttered dryly, "because everybody ain't going." Granny looked at him with deep disappointment. "You gonna chicken out again?" she asked, her voice dripping with scorn. "Is we gonna be forever known as the Beverly Hills Yellow Bellies?" Before Jed could answer her charge, a black car pulled up to the gates, and a breathless messenger jumped out. "The Queen is coming," the man shouted. Jed blinked in surprise. "Here?" he asked. "She is gonna pick up the deed to Canada," Granny realized, her eyes widening. "Then we have got to finish the feud." Back at the Dumbarton estate, the colonel was wandering around his lawn, wearing a bright green set of ceremonial armor that had been sitting in his attic for decades. He looked like an oversized grasshopper with a serious chip on his shoulder. "Finish. The old boy must have had a fit," Osgood muttered, watching his father-in-law from the terrace. "Perhaps he just stumbled and fell," Vanessa suggested, shaking her head. Suddenly, a massive shadow loomed over the garden wall, followed by a loud scraping sound. "Great heavens, what's that?" Osgood cried out. The colonel adjusted his green helmet, lifting a heavy wooden lance. "I am off to the tournament," the old man declared grandly. "The Black Knight and I are jousting." "Jousting," Vanessa repeated, rubbing her temples. "Yes. He flew over the wall to engage me," the colonel explained, pointing to the broken solarium roof. "The poor blighter forgot his sword. So we are meeting on the field of honor to settle the War of the Roses." Nice tea. By the afternoon, the large meadow between the two properties had been transformed into a makeshift tournament ground. A small crowd of confused neighbors, curious onlookers, and Granny's remaining commandos had gathered around the perimeter. Jed stood near the center, trying to maintain some semblance of order before the royal arrival. "But Jed, I can't send Granny's guerrillas back to civilian life," Granny argued, pacing up and down the grass. "I got them all worked up to a pitch. These killers, they got a bloodlust in their eyes." "Uncle Jed, Granny," Jethro's voice boomed as he walked out onto the field, his black armor shining under the afternoon sun. "Get everybody together. We's gonna have a joust." "Oh, you caught one, did you?" Granny asked, looking over at the green-armored figure of the colonel standing at the opposite end of the meadow. "I got you something to eat." "You don't eat it, you fight it," Jethro explained simply. "Well, you fight it, you clean it, you cook," Granny retorted, crossing her arms. "Granny, I am gonna have a joust with the Green Knight," Jethro insisted, pointing his lance across the way. "Let him clean it and cook it. I got the War of the Roses to settle. This will settle it." Jed looked between his nephew and the angry old man in green. "Jousting is fighting and the Green Knight is from the next castle," Jed noted calmly. "Well, how did this all come about?" "Well, I shot Jester over the wall and he landed on the Green Knight," Jethro recounted with immense pride. "So now he is going to have a joust." Jed turned to the young man, his expression serious. "You say this will settle the War of the Roses once and for all?" "Oh, yes, sir," Jethro nodded vigorously. "That is the feudal system." "Well, get ready, boy, because here he comes," Jed said, stepping back as the colonel began to lumber forward. "Somebody fetch my charger and my jousting lamp," Jethro bellowed to the crowd. "Hail to thee, Green Knight. Don't curse him, boy. Just fight him," Granny yelled from the sidelines. Vanessa and Osgood watched the spectacle from a safe distance near a refreshment table. "What's that green goo-mare doing?" Vanessa asked, pointing a manicured finger at her father, who was currently tipped upside down trying to drink from a silver flask through his visor. Knowing the colonel, "Madam," Baldar the butler whispered, appearing out of nowhere with a tray. I would guess he is fortifying himself for the fridge. Oh, well, as long as it's only water, Vanessa sighed, turning away. Granny stepped out into the center of the field, holding a large wooden megaphone to her mouth, acting as the official master of ceremonies. Ladies and gentlemen and rabble, she shouted, her voice carrying across the meadow. In this corner, we have a boy from your own castle. A boy fighting to end the War of the Roses. A boy fighting to save the family name and your own necks. The ever-popular Black Knight from Bog Tussle. Let's hear it for him. The small crowd offered a smattering of polite applause and a few confused cheers. Granny turned toward the opposite side of the field, her expression turning into a deep scowl. In this corner, appearing for the first time without his cannon, a man after your own hearts as well as your livers and other vital organs, the notorious Yellow Knight. I mean the Green Knight. Never do it. Take a bow, Greenie. Now, answer below the belt. And when you get run through, stay down till the count of 8. It hurt, do you? Osgood shook his head as he watched his father-in-law attempt to lower his lance, which kept catching on his own foot protector. If Master Jethro can survive the catapult, he can survive the colonel, Osgood muttered. Baldar nodded in agreement. Well, what about him? The butler asked. What kind of shape is he in? Mr. Clanton, the shape that he is in, I guarantee you he won't feel a thing. Granny raised a bright red handkerchief into the air, her face twisted in absolute concentration. On your mark, get set, charge. The two armored figures began to lumber toward each other. It was not a fast charge, as both men were carrying an immense amount of heavy metal, and the grass was somewhat slippery from the morning dew. They closed the distance slowly, their heavy boots thudding against the earth. When they finally met in the center, there was a loud, chaotic clanging sound as their lances missed each other completely, but their armored shoulders collided with tremendous force. The impact sent both men spinning backward. The colonel lost his balance entirely and fell flat on his back, his green armor making a sound like a dropped toolbox. Jethro spun around 3 times before sitting down heavily in a patch of clover, his helmet spinning around so that he was once again staring at his own back. Jed rushed out onto the field to check on them. No, sir, not for hundreds of years, Jed muttered, looking down at the fallen warriors. I figured. 1, 2, get up, Jethro, Jed counted, tapping his nephew's metal shoulder. 3, 4. I'm not blowing the wind out of you. Lie down, Greenie. You're a sick man. 6. You're going to be sicker than he is. 7. As a doctor, I'm warning you. Jethro, I'm warning you. Granny came running over, pushing Jed out of the way to peer into the colonel's green helmet. All she needs, the wind, she declared, pulling a small bottle of her home-brewed liniment from her apron. Jethro, I told you, I want him in one piece, Jed reminded his nephew, who was still trying to unscrew his helmet to see where he was. Ellie ran over, waving her hands wildly. Ellie, don't, Jed called out, but she was already trying to lift the heavy Green Knight by his feet to help him up. Good luck, they're all down the garden. A voice called out from the edge of the property as Mr. Drysdale's car finally arrived. The banker jumped out of the vehicle, looking frantic as he adjusted his tie. Her Majesty's still sulking, Drysdale whispered loudly to his assistant, who was carrying a heavy velvet cloth. Let her sulk. Let's get the throne set up, he ordered, pointing toward a small wooden platform that had been hastily constructed near the hedge. It's just that Elizabethan costume makes her look ridiculous, the assistant complained, struggling with the heavy fabric. Listen, Greenie, Drysdale snapped, turning on the man with an icy stare. Think how ridiculous it will make you look in the unemployment line. He's trapped in there. How do you think he is? Jed walked over to the green-armored colonel, who was now emitting a strange, low bubbling sound from inside his helmet. Jed, if I didn't know better, I'd swear he was fermenting, Granny noted, sniffing the air near the visor. Jethro, you don't pillage my knight, Ellie yelled, pushing her brother away as he tried to claim the colonel's silver sword as a trophy. I am no shape at all, the colonel's muffled voice complained from inside the metal suit. I'll get you another one, Jethro promised his sister, looking around the field for another suitable opponent. Ellie, maybe you had better let Jethro get you another one, Jed suggested, looking down at the defeated and highly fragrant old man. "She can have this one, too," the colonel grumbled, his voice fading. "He's as spoiled as a war." "He's already spoiled. Get some water. I'll bring him around," Granny ordered, waving her arms. "Yeah," Jed said, reaching for a nearby bucket that one of the farm hands had brought over. "Jed, if this is water, we gotta find the creek it come from," Granny said, taking a sniff and coughing loudly. "Now that's what you call water." "Are you sure?" Jed asked, looking closely at the clear liquid. "Distilled water," Granny confirmed with a nod. "Rennie, it's for him." "Yes." Suddenly, Baldar came running down the gravel path from the main house, his usual professional calm entirely shattered. "Mr. Flavisham, Mr. Flavisham, the Queen is here," the butler shouted, waving his arms toward the terrace. "The Queen?" Osgood asked, turning around in surprise. "Not the new one, sir, the old one," Baldar gasped, catching his breath. "The old Queen?" "Elizabeth I. Jethro, have you been at the cooking, Sherry?" Jed asked, looking over at his nephew with a suspicious frown. "No, sir," Jethro insisted, his eyes wide as he pointed toward the garden tower. "I heard words from the garden tower. I saw Her Majesty." "Queen Elizabeth I?" "Yes, sir, ascending her throne." Osgood looked at the butler, his brow furrowed in deep confusion. "Something the matter, Mr. Domo?" he asked. "Not really, sir," Baldar replied, trying to smooth down his jacket. "No, the excitement of the day has been a bit much, potentially. But I did see the Queen." "You did?" Colonel Dumbarton asked, having finally been hauled to his feet by Jed and Ellie, his green helmet resting cockeyed on his shoulders. "Yes, sir, in front of the castle." "Oh, good. I've been expecting her," Jed said, wiping his dusty hands on his trousers. "I'm going to give her back the deed to Canada." "The deed to Canada?" Vanessa whispered, looking at her husband as if everyone had gone completely mad. "Yeah, I bought it last week," Jed explained simply, as if he were talking about a sack of potatoes. Near the hedge, Drysdale was frantically passing out small coins to the farm hands and servants, trying to ensure their cooperation in his elaborate theatrical ruse. "What's it all about, mate?" one of the locals asked, looking down at the silver piece in his palm. "Never mind. Pass it on," the man next to him whispered. "Mr. Drysdale says there's a quid in it for everybody who keeps his mouth shut. Get the show on the road." Drysdale stepped up onto the grass platform, clearing his throat loudly and waving his arms to command the attention of the gathered crowd. "Ladies and gentlemen, attention, please," the banker announced in his grandest, most theatrical voice. "Her Gracious Majesty, Elizabeth I, has seen fit to appoint me as royal spokesman. I'll let all those who have business with the Queen step forward." He caught Jed's eye and gestured wildly with his eyebrows. "That's you, Jed." Jed nodded, taking off his old hat and stepping forward toward the wooden throne where an older actress sat, wearing an immense, pearl-encrusted white gown and a towering red wig, looking thoroughly annoyed by the afternoon heat. "Your Majesty, ma'am," Jed began, bowing his head with genuine, deep respect. "Well, first off, I want to say that we all feel mighty honored just to get to see you. And I want to thank you for letting us visit your fine country. I don't know how much Mr. Drysdale has told you about how we come to buy Canada, but I reckon maybe less said about that the better." On the throne, the actress blinked, looking over at Drysdale, who was giving her frantic, nodding gestures from behind a bush. Yeah, Jed continued, pulling the heavy parchment deed from his jacket pocket and extending it forward. "Well, anyway, it's an honor and a pleasure to give it back to you, and here is the deed." Mr. Drysdale stepped forward quickly, snatching the document before the actress could drop it. "On behalf of Her Majesty, I thank you for returning Canada to the Crown," the banker declared grandly, clutching the paper to his chest as if it were worth its weight in gold. Jed smiled, stepping back a pace. "You're welcome, and she's welcome." "Can I say something to the Queen?" Granny asked, shoving her way past Jed and standing directly in front of the platform with her chin thrust out. Drysdale swallowed hard but nodded. "You may approach the throne," the banker allowed nervously. "You may speak." "Your Majesty, ma'am," Granny said, looking the heavily powdered actress right in the eye. "I just want to tell you that the War of the Roses is over, and we won it fair and square. General Whoop, the Green Knight, he'd appreciate it if you'd tell the folks in London not to laugh and point at us no more." The actress, caught up in the strange sincerity of the moment, cleared her throat and spoke in a deep, surprisingly commanding voice. "Her Majesty will so instruct her subjects, and your name has been officially cleared." Granny nodded, highly satisfied with the royal decree. "Good thinking, Granny," Jethro whispered, nudging her with his armored elbow. "Could I ask a boon, please, Mr. Drysdale?" the young man asked, stepping forward with a loud, metallic clatter. "Oh, all right. Step forward," Drysdale sighed, rubbing his temples in exhaustion. Jethro dropped heavily to one knee, the impact making a loud thud against the soft turf. "Your Majesty, ma'am, I am Sir Jethro de Bodine, except I ain't never been officially drubbed a knight. Would you drub me?" The actress looked down at the massive, earnest face looking up at her from beneath the ruffian helmet. She picked up a small wooden ceremonial sword resting on the side table. "Kneel," she commanded softly, tapping his broad shoulders with the flat of the blade. A short distance away, Vanessa and Osgood were walking back toward their own house, completely finished with the day's eccentricities. "Has anyone seen the Countess?" Vanessa asked, looking around the empty paths. Osgood pointed back toward the meadow with his cane. "The Black Knight is being drubbed by Queen Elizabeth I," he noted dryly. Vanessa let out a long, exhausted laugh, taking her husband's arm. "Oh, come off it," she said, shaking her head as they walked away from the grand spectacle. "You'd better get him home. He, drinks, you know." Back on the field, Jethro rose from his knee, his face shining with absolute joy, his dream of medieval chivalry fulfilled in the most unexpected way possible. The afternoon sun began to dip below the horizon, casting a warm, golden glow over the green lawns, the broken roses, and the smiling faces of the Clampett family. Thus ends the Second War of the Roses.
Goodbye.
In the misty, sprawling expanse of 15th century England, two noble houses clashed in a long, bloody feud that would be remembered forevermore as the War of the Roses. The House of York and the House of Lancaster fought with fierce determination, their rivalries painting the pages of history with tales of honor, betrayal, and battlefield glory. Tonight, however, far across the centuries in the rolling hills of 20th century England, history prepared to repeat itself in the most unexpected of ways. The ancient trees and stone walls stood silent witness as the House of Dumbarton prepared to clash with the House of Clampett in what would henceforth be known as the Second War of the Roses. The morning air was crisp and fresh, carrying the scent of damp earth and dew-kissed grass across the estate. Ellie Mae stood near the heavy wooden doors of the makeshift stronghold, her eyes wide with a mixture of curiosity and mild exasperation as she watched her cousin. Jethro was busily adjusting his attire, looking every bit like a man possessed by the spirit of ancient chivalry, even if his understanding of the era was somewhat scrambled. "Hey, Jethro," Ellie Mae called out, her voice cutting through the quiet morning. "What do you want? You better go talk to Granny before you go charging over to the next castle." Jethro drew himself up to his full height, adjusting a piece of makeshift armor that looked suspiciously like a modified kitchen utensil. "I am only riding over there to bring down a challenge," he declared with immense gravity, puffing out his chest. "Then we can commence fighting the War of the Roses. But Granny wants to sneak up on us. She does not understand the feudal system. Knights do not sneak." Ellie Mae shook her head, a soft sigh escaping her lips as she leaned against the stone framework. "Well, you had better sneak back because Granny is going to find your 10 breeches." Jethro turned to her, his expression turning deeply earnest, as if the entire future of their family lineage depended on the outcome of the next few hours. "Look, Ellie, do you want to get yourself a handsome knight and get cropped up and live happy ever after?" "Well, of course I do," Ellie Mae admitted, a bright smile breaking across her face at the thought of a fairy tale romance, even if the current circumstances were a bit peculiar. "Well, then we have got to fight my way, the feudal way, with honor, bravery, and intelligence," Jethro stated firmly, fully convinced of his own strategic brilliance. Ellie Mae waved a hand, wishing him the best despite her lingering doubts about his grand plan. "Okay," she said cheerfully. "Good luck, brave, intelligent knight." Jethro mounted his trusty steed, or rather, the 20th century equivalent that he had deemed worthy of a warrior. With a grand gesture, he prepared to set off, completely unaware of his own positioning. "Giddy up," he shouted. Ellie Mae stared in utter disbelief as the horse began to move. "Jethro, you are all backwards," she yelled, trying to catch his attention. "Jethro, turn around." "Yeehaw," came the muffled reply from beneath the heavy helmet as Jethro rode off into the distance, sitting entirely facing the wrong way, yet completely undeterred by the minor technicality. Across the property,